also the host of a newly released podcast. I need you guys to check it out. She's going to let us know a little bit more about it as we continue. But she's right here with me. Lorato, how are you doing today?
Wow, I'm well, thanks. How are you?
I'm great. We jumped right in it. You've literally just entered the door.
I did. Still a bit flustered, but very excited to be here. That was a wonderful welcome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Okay.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about, your CV is so heavy, and I said this on the little chat we had on WhatsApp. You've done so many things. I think it's going to be such a dynamic interview, and I think a great place to start. Let's begin with the fashion industry, since we are on Bogart Men. How did you get involved in fashion? Where did the love come from? And how did the studying go and take place?
You know, that was a bit of a funny one, actually, for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always just had a passion for making my own clothes.
Yeah.
So I used to just sew pieces together, and I have a grandmother who is a tailor as well.
Oh, wow.
So I'd always look up to her and be like, this is so cool how you can just make clothing from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward a couple years later after high school, I was like, what can I do? You know, what can I do that kind of embodies who I am?
Yeah.
Style, art, and fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out about fashion media.
Wow.
Okay, and fashion media encompassed a lot of things. Actually, it was more than just the fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It was also just like the production side of media, and just like everything behind the scenes.
Okay.
And I think that's really what I fell in love with. It's just like the making of things and like the story of things as well. So yeah, that's kind of everything with that. And the studying went well. Thank you for asking.
Perfect.
I did graduate in May. So that was really exciting. You know, I feel very happy to have accomplished something like that in my life because it wasn't easy, you know. But just being here today kind of just speaks volume, and I'm so happy. I'm excited.
And we're so excited to have you here. It's beautiful. I love the whole story that you've just told. And I mean, people don't really think about what goes on behind the scenes with fashion. You know, you see the clothing in the store and you think, wow, just a shirt. And you don't think about everything that happened in the manufacturing process. Now, share a little bit with us about some of the things that you learned and you studied at the school about the behind the scenes process, because I don't know much either.
Okay. So I basically majored in trend analysis, marketing, and media.
Wow.
Okay. So the behind the scenes of that kind of encompasses finding out what the consumer is going to want before they even know that they want it.
Wow.
You know, so we tell you what's going to be popping, what's going to be hot, what's going to be in. And we then help designers come up with products that are going to appeal to the consumer.
Yeah.
You know, so it had a lot to do with just finding out maybe what people are into right now and what they're going to need in the future. And I think that it says a lot because it's like you're predicting something that isn't there already.
Yeah.
So you're making something from scratch, like I said earlier in the beginning. And that's really what I love about it, is that you're predicting something that doesn't exist. So essentially, you're an alchemist in a way. You know, you're coming up with something that's not there. You're creating the style and you're telling people what's popping. So it had a lot to do with just predicting. I think that's really what it is, predicting and understanding your consumer. I think if you have a basic understanding of what a person needs, you can give them just about anything.
So true.
You know?
So true.
Yeah.
And when you look at the market in South Africa today, how do you think the local brands are doing? Do you think we're seeing more of the local brands taking a foothold in the marketplace right now? And do you see them growing and becoming stronger as time goes?
I definitely do. And also I think it's so amazing how the media is shifting towards Africa and just like looking into Africa and really celebrating true African stories, original African stories, and original African arts as well, you know? And I think we're definitely going to grow, you know? We're still new in this, you know? We're still trying to find our feet, but like at the end of the day, it's in our DNA, you know? It's who we are. Art is who we are. Fashion is who we are. And nobody does it like we do. So I definitely think there's still growth that's going to be happening there. There's still a lot of exciting things that we're going to see. And I think people will move less from you know, everything that's just popularized and like Fashion Week and everything, and just like go into the streets and see what's popping in the streets. What are real people saying? What are real people wearing? What does the day-to-day person need, you know, away from luxury and more towards need. So I think, we definitely have an exciting future there.
I love that. And when you look at the sales of clothing and so on, do you think that for a designer to get involved into women's clothing would be better, or is men's clothing better? What's the fastest seller?
I'm not biased. You know, I'm not biased. I did do some work where I was an ambassador of male's clothing brand, actually. And that was really exciting because what we got to do was incorporate all that fashion encompasses, you know?
Yeah.
It's not really that this is tailor-made for a man, but it's more so that this is a garment that anybody can rock and put their style to, you know? So I think it's not that men's clothing is better or females' clothing is better. I think it depends on your style.
Of course.
You know, is your style better than the next person? Because I believe I could rock men's clothing. I could make it work.
Yeah.
I really, truly believe that, you know. So
Definitely.
it really doesn't come down to this is going to sell better, that's going to sell better. Of course, when you do your research, you will find that women are the people who shop the most over men. You know, they're the ones who head up their households and do all the shopping. But I mean, you know, fashion is fashion. Fashion is for the people. And, you know, if you're gonna sponsor the people, you have to sponsor all of the people.
That's very true.
Yeah, you can't be biased.
I love that. And it's a very true answer. I think fashion is fashion, just like music is music. You don't look at one type of people to market your music towards. You look at everybody. So I guess same thing with fashion. It's for the people, and that's your aim at the end of the day. Now, transitioning from that, how did you move into the podcast sphere and the social media influencer and all of that?
Okay, so the fashion media influencing was kind of unintentional. So I saw a competition one day where a brand was looking for an ambassador.
Yeah.
They were looking for a male ambassador, actually. And I guess I kind of charmed them with my words, as I do, you know. And I convinced them that, you know, I know you're looking for a man, but here's what you can do. Here's something new, you know? And I think that's really what excited them, was that they were going to be able to do something that was new, something that wasn't done before. And in doing that, it inspired them to stock up more of, you know, unisex clothing and all of that, you know? So that was my initial entrance into the social media thing. I think that was in 2021.
Okay.
Yes. So I've been doing a little bit of that, you know, promoting brands, clothing, and all of that on social media. And with the podcast, I think what really inspired that was that I was looking for something that would embody the growth that I feel like I'm going through right now, and that I feel like a lot of my age mates, you know, Gen Z is going through right now, but in a different sense. I wanted to put the focus on love. I wanted to put the focus on intentionality, and I wanted to put the focus on honesty, you know? I feel like a lot of what I had seen on the media had to do with what is trending, who did what, and all of that, and not a lot of focus was put on what's going on internally. True. You know, and especially at our age, we have, I feel like, a bit of an issue when it comes to confronting internal issues and honesty with what we're really going through. And I wanted to create a space where I could really celebrate that growth is hard for anybody and at any age, really. You know, we're always transitioning, we're always aging, we're always growing and changing. And just because it's a tough process, it doesn't mean that you should shy away from it or you should give it a bad label. But here's rather something that you could do. You know, you could approach it with love. You could approach it with intentionality. You could really just be honest about it. Say it's hard, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to use it as ammunition and build myself, and I'm going to do something better for myself. So that's really the space that I wanted to create. And I felt like I hadn't heard it said in so many words out there. So that's why I wanted to create that.
I love that. Identifying a gap. And it's such a beautiful gap that you found, because you're helping people to develop themselves. And it sounds like you're doing that by helping yourself as well.
Definitely.
Which is quite a beautiful thing to be doing. Now, I had a little listen to the podcast and I checked it out a bit. And, you know, when I listened to it, I could see that, look, you've got some lyrics going on there, a little bit of poetry. There's a whole bunch going on in it. Now, is this how it was created to be, with just like a free flow going, or do you plan every episode methodically and say, okay, on this one, we're doing this, next one is that?
Well, with the themes of my podcast, I kind of just go with the flow with whatever it is that I'm feeling.
Okay.
So in the beginning, my first episode is about starting fearlessly.
Yeah.
And that was really just to encourage myself to start without fear. You know, I really just wanted to tackle that and just come, just get over it and just tell other people that, you know what, like, I feel the same things you're feeling, you know. And I definitely do try and sit down and listen to, you know, myself, you know, what it is that I need to hear, you know, because more than anything, like you said, it is something that I'm doing for myself as well, to help myself. So I listen to myself internally and I think, what is it that I would like to hear? Or what is it that I would like for another person to tell me when I'm feeling these certain emotions? And then when it comes to the lyrics, you know, we could say they're heaven sent, you know, they come straight from the heavens, you know. It's just my natural gift, I
Beautiful,
guess.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. And I love poetry. It's one of my guilty pastimes, guilty pleasures. I sit back and I just read poetry, listen to poetry. So I really enjoyed it, and it's introspective into somebody's soul at times. It's a very personal thing. So I really love to see the growth that you're hoping for yourself and you're hoping for everybody else. It's a beautiful thing. Now, when you look at mental health and mental health issues that are afflicting so many of the youth out there, it's a crazy situation, especially on social media. People get dragged so much. There's so many bad things going on. We're losing entertainers. I've lost a couple of my brothers, performers, great ones, legends to this industry to mental health issues. Is this something that you also are tackling? And if so, is it something that you're going to be tackling in multiple episodes? Because I feel like it's so big, it's not something to be addressed just once in a short space of time.
It's definitely not something that can be boiled up into one thing. And it is something that I would like to explore, maybe not so vividly in a way that makes people feel uncomfortable about it. Because I feel like, especially with the Black people, our people, we find it kind of hard to explore matters of mental health. It's very difficult to speak about it, and we're told all the time from both sides, men and women, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be able to deal with this, you're Black, you're African, you're strong, and all these things. But I feel like the way that I want to approach it is in a way that kind of makes you understand that it's okay. It's fine. You're dealing with these things, but this is not a weakness, and it's not something that defines you. It's never something that has to define your entire life. It's merely an aspect of your life and something that you're probably living with. And I think mental health issues is something that it never really actually goes away, because you're always going to be faced with challenges in life and you never know how they're going to affect you.
True.
It's something that stays with you, but if you can find a way that helps you to kind of deal with it, and not even saying that you shouldn't feel the things, because I'm an advocate of like feeling it. Like if you're going through it, go through it, give yourself the time of day and go through it and feel it, but don't get stuck in it. And I think that's what I'm trying to do with my podcast, where it's like I definitely will divulge on it all and expand on it with my podcast, but it's never something that has to define you, and it's never something that you have to be stuck in, and it's also never something that you have to be ashamed of. So it is definitely something I would love to explore, and I'm glad that I have the platform that I do have, where I can talk about it in many different ways, because I feel like even having like with my second episode, I talk about imposter syndrome. I feel like that is a form of self-doubt, and therefore a form of some kind of mental health, where it's like, who it is that you are, but you still have all these questions about whether or not it is that you can deliver the way that you essentially know you can, but you have these doubts and you deal with it. And my podcast is kind of like, well, here's a different way of looking at this, and that's definitely what I'd like to do as I continue with my podcast.
I love it. And I hope people tune in and just give it a listen, because it's so uplifting. And like you say, you touch so many different topics in a very gentle way. So, people don't have to be afraid. It's not like you're getting lectured at or something.
Never that.
It's very chilled. It's very chilled. Beautiful. So, this is a reggae show. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions about reggae music as well. Now, I want to know your top, let's say top five favorite reggae artists worldwide. Who would it be?
Oh, my goodness. Okay. I'll maybe give you 3 because I don't know if I could do 5.
That's
Number
cool.
1 has to be, of course, the multi-platinum, award-winning Dada music.
Oh, shout out.
Of course, who else if not the Bogart man himself? I do love Children of Zeus. They kind of touch on a different types of music, but they do touch on reggae.
Yeah.
I actually put up one of their songs with the poster that you guys sent me. One of my favorite songs. And of course, the legendary Bob Marley. Like, he'll never not be on the list. He'll never not be on the list. He said, when music hits, you feel no pain. And that is definitely true. I never feel any pain when I'm listening to music.
I love it. Now, I wanted to ask again about Mzansi reggae music. Now, same question, but I think I'm going to dumb it down a little bit and let's make it easier. Say 2 Mzansi artists that you would love to see on some reggae music. Let's do it that way.
Oh, that I would love to see on reggae music.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would love to see some of our hip hop rappers on reggae music, actually. So maybe I think it would be interesting to hear Shane Eagle on a reggae.
It would be, yes.
On reggae track, especially with the kind of music that he does, especially because he talks a lot about just like inner conflicts as well, you know, and he talks about real stories as well. So I think that would be interesting to hear what his take is on that.
Nice.
But he actually does have a song with I'm actually forgetting who he has the song with, but I think he would actually be interested in doing that.
I agree.
And maybe Nasty C. That would be interesting to see, actually.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting.
That's a great collection there. So would it be a fair assumption to say you're a fan of South African hip-hop?
I am a fan of South African hip hop, but also I think it's unfair for me to just say South African hip hop because I'm a fan of music, you know? And I think that's also something I wanted to be very evident in my podcast, where it's like, if you're going to have a conversation with me and we're chilling, we'd usually be playing all types of music, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of vibe that I was trying to create, so that I'm still trying to create with my podcast, where it's like, you're sitting with a friend and there's a track in the background, and now you remember that conversation that we had, but it's attached to that song, and you just can't get that song out of your head. But it makes you think of that wonderful moment that we shared. So, yeah.
Yeah, and who does the editing of your podcast? Is it you doing all that? Because there's so many beautiful little effects in the background and all of that.
Yeah, I do most of the editing myself.
Okay.
I do have a sound engineer who's kind of helping me clean out the vocals and all.
Nice.
But like I did say when we spoke, it is in the early stages. So I think as I grow and expand, I'll maybe try and like onboard people who can help me make it a better production. Because more than anything, I just want to make sure that I'm producing quality content, you know? Like, it's important that I'm saying something, but I also want it to be good to listen to, you know, and easy to digest as well.
I love that. I love that. And are you looking at bringing any guests onto your podcast, or are you going to be handling it one woman, you know, one queen?
I'm definitely looking to have guests.
Okay.
Hopefully in my second season, which should be starting next year.
Nice.
And I mean, if you would honor this show, I would love to have the Dada on my show.
Of course.
Yes.
We would love that. We'd love that. I love speaking about all types of matters of the heart and the mind. I think it's very important. And not a lot of artists do that. I think they bottle it up too much. So, you know, be free, guys. Let yourself, you know, cry if you have to, laugh if you have to, you know, be free. Now, I want to know, where can we find the podcast? People want to download it, want to give it a listen. Where can they access it? How can they access it?
You can currently find it on Apple Music and Spotify, but you should soon be able to find it on all major streaming platforms. And then from the second season, it'll definitely also be available on my YouTube. Ndlovu.
Great. Yeah. And the future, what is the future like?
Wow, I can never speak on the future if I'm being very honest, Dada. I live very much in the present moment. And I know that the things that I'm doing currently in the present are just things that feel right to me and that come naturally to me. And I feel like I'm just blessed every single day, you know, to just enjoy all these things that come my way, things that I make happen intentionally and things that come along unintentionally. So I think whatever comes in the future will be whatever is meant for me, really. Yeah. That's truly what I believe. And I think it will be directed mostly into the media space. You know, I'd love to see myself on TV. I think I have a cute little face, you know.
That would be lovely, yeah.
On TV, on radio, you know, if you ever need a Bogart lady, you know, I'm here.
Got you in mind.
And yeah, more modeling and more business ventures, I hope.
Beautiful. Well, we're wishing the best for you right here at Bogart, man. We want the very best for you for the future and for what you're doing right now in the present. Like you said, nothing more important than this time. Now, if people want to follow you, social media, how can they go ahead and do that? They want to book you, maybe modeling events. How can they do that?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at Miss Lovely. So that's miss.love.lee. And you should find me on YouTube at Ndlovu. And I think that's mainly the pages that I'd say you'd find me at. If you're interested in my art, you can find me at lovelystudios at gmail.com. That's my email. Okay. And my personal email is nleratondlovu at icloud.com. So please book me.
Please do, guys. Please do. And, you know, what a pleasure it is speaking to you. Wow. It's so amazing. Like I said, dynamic conversation. Time flies past so fast when you're having fun. I've really enjoyed it. And I hope that people support everything you're doing. You're podcasting, you're influencing. Hope you get booked for the modeling, some television. The future may be very bright for you.
Thank
Maybe
you
very
so
bright
much.
for you.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. This is amazing. Like I said, it's amazing that you do this for artists and all people, like just giving them a space to have their voice heard. I think that speaks volumes just to the type of person that you are, even, and everybody here. It's like, this is amazing. You don't have to be doing this, but the fact that you are, it speaks volumes to the type of person you are. So I appreciate this so much. Thank you.
Blessed love. What a beautiful way to end the interview. Well, we're going to get into some more females of the reggae music. We've got Naomi Cowan with the song entitled Paradise Plum. What a pleasure it's been here on Bogart Men Radio. We've still got about 38 minutes left on the show. So for them 38, we're going to give you that good music. Ja Rastafari. Stay tuned, because the good vibes going to keep going.